Big round of applause for Amit, please.
Hi, guys. Thanks. I'm Amit. I'm co-founder of Koo, along with my founder here, Shilpa. I'm going to talk to you about Koo, which is the world's first parenting platform. And we are on a mission to simplify parenting. I think I know the answer, but let me test anyway. Let me do a poll and see how many of you are parents of young children. Woohoo, it's going to be an easy pitch because you don't know what I'm going to talk about. Let me try something different. How many of you know somebody who is or was a parent of a young child? Okay, at least most of you remember your parents, which is good. It's not always the case, right? So let me give a bit of context before I show the app, which is, parenting. I have two kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and parenting is extremely hard. And the reason it's hard is, between the two kids, I have to take care of close to 500 events in a year. That's a lot, right? It's very hard to reach out to other parents and ask for help because typically you know them as only Ollie's mom or Sarah's dad. It's very hard to send an email to such a person, right? And parenting technology is literally in Stone Age, right? Everything is done using papers and Post-its. So we have set out to change that. We launched an MVP in September. So this is a live MVP, and I'll give you a demo. And time permitting, I'll give you a brief sneak preview of our version 1, which is going to be launched in May. Right? So this is Koo. This is the home page, which shows you what's going on in Koo. But let me actually talk to you more about, what underpins all of this, which is my groups. So the idea is, as a parent, right, I have two kids. Between the two, they're part of about 10 activities, right? My son goes to a school, my daughter goes to a nursery, and there are a bunch of after-school activities, right? And the idea is, as a parent, you can either create or join private groups around each one of these activities, right? And within these activities, you can talk to other parents, and also there's a calendar in each of the group, which rolls up to my calendar. What we have found, and this is live app, we have about 800 users who have downloaded it and they're using it. What we have found is typically there are two types of groups. One where it's an activity manager or a school principal or a nursery manager which is using this app to communicate to parents. And in the other case, it's basically parents talking to each other and asking for help. So let me give a quick demo. This is my daughter's nursery. She's 4 years old, right? And what the nursery manager does every day or every second day, posts a message here and shows what the kids are up to, right? So, yesterday, the weather was better than today. They had gone out into the woodlands. They walked around, and she posted a nice, collage and some topic, right? And what she does is she blanks out the faces of the children, so there's privacy, but it's a good way for us to know what's happening, right? So whether they were playing around in the nursery, they did messy play, or, for example, they had a fire engine which showed up a few days back. It's very nice in the evening when the 4-year-old comes home, you can have a conversation with them and say, how did it go? Because outside of this, normally the conversation goes, what did you do? Nothing, right? And that's the end of the conversation, right? So this gives us some way of at least tapping into them and talking to them. The other group is this one. This is my son's class. He's in year 2. And this is completely informal group. It's for parents to talk to each other and help each other, right? So let me show an example. This is how the spelling lists come. So as long as some parents sort of post this on this group, everybody has it. This is a nice example where a few days back, one of the parents, this Monday we had an Easter egg hunt. So some parents sent a message reminding everybody else that it's coming up and you need to really fill the form. As you can see here, Duncan had lost the form, so he was really sorry about it and really needed the form. And also he noticed that, he can't be there at 3, what you needed to be, so that his daughter Nina could participate in the egg hunt, right? And the thing was, he asked for help. A few minutes later, somebody responded and said, here is a form, and I'd be more than happy to take care of your daughter for those 30 minutes, right? I've been in this school for 2.5 years. This has never happened, right? So this is really forming these micro communities where parents can come together, start helping each other, and create that village, right? The other thing in each of these groups is what you have is a calendar. So whatever is coming up gets posted into the group. Let me go to the past events because the last week has been quite busy. The term was ending. Bunch of Easter activities going on, right? So for example, this morning we had this information, send secret Easter treat. It's very hard to read that, but this is typically how the message comes to us. You have to send a £1.50 Easter treat so the kids can exchange amongst each other. Obviously, if the child is the one who doesn't take that, they don't get anything, right? At which point your head is going to be chopped off, if they came home and they had no treat because we forgot to send something else, right? So it's a very good way for parents to share. The other thing in this app is My Calendar. So on the right you see. And what My Calendar does is it brings everything together into one calendar for the family or for the person. You see don't pitch to me, bro, right at the top, because Shilpa and I, we use it for work as well. But the idea is in a family setting, you would have your entire family calendar here. So this is literally the app. Now what we are doing is we are in the process of making it much better. We're going to launch it in May. We are simplifying the interface. We are taking out this hamburger menu. It doesn't work with a lot of people who are not as sophisticated, right? And we're just making it visually much better in general. Yeah. So this is how it will look like in May. You would see groups in much more visual way. And you can see what's happening in each of the groups. The calendar will begin to look like a calendar, which everybody has asked us to. And also this will sync with your device. So even if you don't open the phone, everything will be there in your device. You will see all the parents in different groups across all those groups in one place. So if you wanted to do a birthday party with one person from the cricket club and one person from here, you can just go tap, tap, and send an invite to them, and you end up creating a group, right? And finally, this is the profile. Right? It's an updated profile where everybody can not only post their own picture, but also their family's picture. It's a small thing, but it's quite interesting because in this setting, your identity is completely linked to your child's identity, right? So nobody knows who I am. The moment I say I'm Rohan's dad and post his picture, then people understand who I am, right? So this is it. I mean, it's a pretty simple app. It's been going on for a while, and we plan to launch it in May, right? In terms of questions, one thing I would really love to get feedback on is how to solve the empty room syndrome, right? This is a group application. If you're the first person in a group, if you create a group or join a group with just one person in it, or if you download the app and you're a part of no groups, this app is close to useless, right? So I would love to get any thoughts on how to make this useful. Obviously, one of the things we are trying is going down the school route or the nursery route and getting them to use it and then have them invite the parents. But outside of that, if you have any clever ideas on how to get over this problem, I would love to hear that. Thanks.
Alrighty then, who's going to start us off? This gentleman over here.
Have you got an invite feature? So if I joined, because you didn't share that. So
yes. So there's a simple invite feature, and what you can do is, if it works, let me show you. I go to here. Well, let's not invite people to this one. I mean, literally any user can do this invite, and what it does is, you can, let's suppose I did this. It'll generate this link, which I can share with other people. And if you wanted to join the group, all you need to do is, if you receive this link, you can tap on this link. In the case of nursery, what they did was they just sent that 6-digit code to people via newsletter, and it's actually posted on the nursery wall, so people can get it and join.
Do I automatically join the group that I've been invited to?
Yeah. And the moderator has the permission to kick you out if they see somebody has joined who shouldn't have joined.
Okie doke. Oh, it's always the person at the opposite side of the room that wants to answer the question. There you go.
So my suggestion is if you, while onboarding the user, if you can ask the number, like you have not joined the parent as well, right? Like mom and dad should join as well, right?
Yes.
So ultimately, while you onboarding, you can onboard using the number, phone number. You can invite your parent, your partner, actually, and maybe that way at least you have a starting point, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a very good suggestion, right? And we have tried that. In essence, we have tried to create a family group at least, so that the mom and dad are there and they have one group and they can start sharing things amongst themselves. There's some challenges with that, but that's a good idea. I think we have to find a way of making it work. Typically, what we have found is dads are quite useless. So, moms are the one who are managing everything, except me, of course. But
Hi, my name is Bauke, and I would like to rephrase your problem. I
Yes.
don't think it's an empty room problem, because even
Okay.
if you have everybody in the room, you need to have something to talk about. So I would rather say, what is the interesting thing you have to offer in order to get people to the room? I would start rather with that instead of getting people in.
So say more, right? I mean, in a group, so what's the suggestion? We should offer something
So, for example, if you are like with a school, for example, the school can say all our the news to the parents goes via this app. So
right.
you team up with a school or something.
Right. So that's the challenge, right? In essence, if you do a B2B2C approach, then it works, right? So you get a school on board. The school says, I'm going to post, information about school on this. Then every consumer gets on, right? Because every parent is going to get on, right? So that works. The problem with that is just the lead time it takes to get a school or a nursery on board. It's very long, right? What we have found, in fact, is even with the current users, if parents are already using it, then in selling it to school becomes much easier, right? So if you say, look, there are already 2 groups in the school where parents are using it by themselves, why don't you use it, right? And then it becomes much easier. But then getting parents to use it without the school is a bit of a chicken and egg problem, right?
I'm going to abuse my power of the mic. It's not really a direct solution. My sister has 2 young kids, and her local mums and dads community, they use Facebook for everything, for sharing toys and clothes that their kids have grown out of, selling that to all each other. They use Facebook for everything. So if there's some way you can tap into Facebook, use the as a marketing channel, and then get them onto your app instead, because obviously there are some major downfalls with using Facebook for that kind of thing.
So that's a good idea, right? Is basically finding these groups where they exist outside of the application and finding some way of getting them on. Okay. That's a good suggestion.
I was just about to say exactly the same thing. My wife uses WhatsApp, and they have groups for all sorts of things. If you can tap into that and then drag them across, that seems like an easier sell, because you've already got a pre-defined group.
Any smart way of tapping into WhatsApp groups? Because Facebook groups you can still scan. Like WhatsApp, it's extremely difficult. So I don't know if there's any suggestion for doing that.
3 things. How old are your kids?
4 and 6.
They have a tablet?
Yes.
That's one way, right? Because kids are highly engaged. And having kids post within the app itself might be a good value. I don't know if you want to go down that route.
Okay.
Another way is parent-teacher meetings.
Yeah.
Going that way, you hit a lot of them for signups.
Right.
But I think your larger problem is engagement,
right.
probably, which is the empty room problem that you're trying to allude at. It's not the signups. And making it, actually, I like this app because it makes me feel better about myself, because less people are posting about their kids on my Facebook. So having an easy way to share information, such as a widget, within, for example, Android or whatnot, where it can take a snap and within seconds share whatever. It's out there. So you want to make it as quick as possible for people to share as much as possible. So think about how Facebook divided Messenger and Facebook to create Messenger as a default. It's real estate. They want to create a default way to quickly engage without having to go into everything.
That's a good point.
Just sort of following from that, is there any way you can get Mumsnet to get behind it? Because I think if you can crack that, then you're kind of golden. But
we're talking to them. It's sort of a strange relationship, because they could be a partner or a competitor. So we're trying to figure out what's the best way of sort of dealing with them.
Okay, that's interesting.
But if somebody has contacts to Mumsnet, let us know. We have been trying to get to them, but haven't been super successful till now.
Yeah, and other mums groups. I mean, we worked with Mums in Tech a few weeks ago to do Silicon Lunch about. They would have been a great place to. Digital mums. There's loads of things that if you're going to solve their problems and making it easier, then definitely get in touch. Sorry, abusing the microphone again. Anyone else? Oh, over here.
Just a suggestion. Sometimes actual brands can be very powerful, because they like to connect with mothers, like baby brands, and they can get to them. So if there was a way to do a partnership with a brand to kind of reach out to them, that could be potentially good.
That's a really good suggestion. Perfect. That makes a lot of sense.
Bruno's giving me the old time. So can we please have a big round of applause for Amit, please?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.